Greetings viewers, this is Spontaneous Maverick coming with another video. Today we're going to continue the review for the real grade MS-06S Zaku II, or in other words, Char Custom Zaku. So in this video, for those who are not familiar with my content, whenever I review a kit that I'm building, first video, the unboxing, a little bit of background of the mobile suit, along with a pilot that is piloting the mobile suit. Second video, parts video, just take my time and give a much more detailed description and review for each and every part that comes with the kit. And the final video, the full review where I assemble the kit, give my final thoughts, the good, the bad, and everything else in between, and if there's a kit worth getting. So, with all that being said, let's get straight to reviewing each and every part of this Zaku railgun. I'm going to start with the body for this one, and I did do some details on this kit actually. I decided to put some decals on, and I also did some paint lining on a few bits here. Not on this one particularly because I didn't have a proper color. I think I did maybe put some here. No, I did not. Excuse me there. But no, other than that, I just put the decals on the chest here. But it's actually pretty sleek. I've seen many people who build Zaku's that they don't like these pieces here. They're just small piece of plastic to go through another piece of plastic that's bent. But it wasn't that bad for me. I did not mind it whatsoever. I thought it was actually pretty simple. The only downside is sometimes if it is removed by accident or something, and a small piece, so that can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but honestly it was not bad. But with this, you have a lot of different colors here. You have the dark gray, you have a gray color around here, around the chest. You have a straight, I would say just a regular red color, no shading, no light or dark. Here though, I would say almost like a vino, like a wine color, more like a red wine color here on these two sides of the chest. I would say this is, I would say maybe pink. I don't have like a hardware store pamphlet of different colors, fortunately, but I'm just gonna go with what I can say at this point. But so yeah, I would say that's a little bit of pink there. And here, these small pieces, I would say it's like a peach. But other than that, it's actually pretty nice. There's a good amount of detail here. I might be able to maybe put some more paint lining here, but with a marker. And I will show that in other pieces momentarily. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice. There is some articulation, especially with the arms here. So these can go forward, and they actually can stick out a little bit as well. So that's going to be wonders when the arms are attached. This part doesn't really move that much, just a little bit for the neck. The thrusters here do move individually, like so. So that's kind of nice. The front does move a little bit, so there could be some good waist action when that's attached. And there's one more which I'm hoping, yep. So I'm a little bit confused on this one personally. I would say this is an entrance to the cockpit, but this side is not open whatsoever. And normally the cockpit is right in the middle. In this case, it's the side. So I don't know if other Zaku builds are like this. For those who have built Zakus, please comment down below. But one thing, yeah, okay, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to move that down because it's such a small space. You get the gist. But yeah, that's the torso. Next up is the waist. And just like the torso, I did put some decals on, more decals on this piece, but that actually looks pretty nice. All these decals are stickers, so in case you make a mistake, you can easily just peel them off and try again. But I decided to do that for this kit. After I was done building it, I feel like I should add a little bit more. Normally I don't do it because I'm always afraid to make a little bit of a mistake, and also I'm a little bit I'll say stingy on where the decals go. Yes, there's a sheet to determine where they go, but I'll make sure it looks right. So that's part of me a little bit like a perfectionist right there. But other than that, these don't look that bad. So the color scheme, I wouldn't say this is like vino. Looks like more like a darker red, not burgundy, but just a little darker. But that actually looks pretty nice. And one thing I forgot to mention is that this real great kit. Um, I know in the unboxing I did show that there were some pieces that it actually comes with skeletal systems of the legs, arms. The waist is no different. Right here is just a solid piece that actually you gotta move a little, you gotta bend a little bit once you get out of the runner. Some older real great kits do have that. I know the Strike Freedom review I did actually had that too. You can take a look at that in my channel. I will put a link of that down below. Well, that's not too bad. So as you can see, there's many articulation. And one, the front skirt did get removed, so be careful of that. These do pop up quite easily like that, fortunately. But the rest are pretty good. The side skirts are not that loose, so which is good. They can stay where they need to be. The back skirt, this is the same. Right there is for a piece of the weapon, which I will show later. And this piece comes down for the other weapon, which again I will show later. But it's actually pretty nice. I like it. Next up is the leg, and I would just want to add right now that the single piece that is used as let's say the skeleton of the leg that you get off that runner that I mentioned before. Once you take it out of the runner, I highly recommend you don't try to bend it, because one of mine actually did break. I had to get I ordered a new one, and it did take a while. I will say this though. Some websites do have extra parts, some don't. Some are so common that some people or like manufacturers who has these parts like Bandai, because it's so common that certain pieces break, that you got a little bit longer before a new one gets in, just because it's so commonly breaks. And this is no exception. Like other pieces of this kit, you can order it; it won't take as long. But fortunately, the leg pieces do break quite easily. So I highly suggest you put everything the leg together before you bend it. I believe it's actually a little bit easier and things don't pop off as easily. So, just my opinion, just be very careful with that. So, with that being said, the leg here does look pretty nice. It's pretty pink and a very light pink here as well. So two different shades there, along with the grays for the foot. Kind of slip out of my hands there. There's a light gray for the bottom of the foot here, and a darker gray for this point here, where it's just going to attach to the waist. And these here, all these panel lining is not actually regular panel lining. I actually got a Gundam marker. I was able to pick up some of these. I use this one right here. It actually did work pretty well. I believe these actually, and just like as this picture showed, these are for mainly Zaku's. But also you can use any Gundam marker if you choose. But just because these are for Gundam marker Xeon sets, Zaku's tend to be Xeon. But says here of which ones to use: Char Pink, Char Red, Zaku Dark Green, Zaku Light Green, Phantom Gray, and Xeon Gray. So I definitely use these markers there to add some panel lining to this kit. But aside from that, though, as you can tell, I put some decals around the lower half of the leg and the foot as well. These are a little bit different. Don't know why, but this kit came with 2 springs that are specifically used for the legs. I don't know why that the legs had the springs, probably because it does bend, whereas the other ones are just plastic and there's no need for those to bend. Because the bend here is actually pretty nice. So I can understand why these are a spring. But yeah, that was actually really good bend, and you can tell, not breaking, it's not loose, nothing like that. Still though, be very careful, just be on the safe side. Because like I said, those parts for the leg, the one runner that has all these like ligament parts for the arms, legs, waist, torso, so on and so forth, just it would take a while for a new piece to get in just because it so commonly breaks. You would think they have a huge amount, but oh well. But anyway, so just be careful. So aside from the knee, the foot does move up and down, does have a little swivel back and forth, and the toe move just slightly, like it barely moves. But you do have something there, does move downward just a little bit. That's actually kind of nice. And this does move around. Yeah, here's the leg. Next up are the arms, and I'm going to do a little bit different here. I may go over both arms just briefly, only because they are different, as you can tell here. But honestly, they have the same articulation. It's just this one has the shield, this one is just a spike shoulder. But all in all, they're just basically the same. This one does move like so, and this one has more range of motion. So I'll just move that to the side for a moment. But the arms, though, aside from the differences, it actually looks pretty nice. I do like how it's very sleek. Good color pattern, and I feel like the details in the arms are a little bit better to do the Gundam marker, some panel lining there. So I am happy with that, especially for the shield here. And I did put some decals on the shield. May want to redo this one. It doesn't look centered, so I may move that to the left a little bit. But other than that, it looks pretty nice. I am happy with it. And just like the color palette so far, you have the solid pink and light pink here. And of course, it does work well with the dark gray all over here. That of course has a sticker there. And I think that's the only thing I put for this arm is just that sticker naturally for the shield there. But for articulation, that's for when it's attached to the torso, so it can move all around. The arm can go 360. It also has a really good bend. The arms also do break easily. Mine did not break, but I read some comments about this kit, and unfortunately the arms do break easily, so just be careful of that as well. The wrist is on ball joint, so does do a nice 360. The shield does rotate all around, and that just popped off. There we go. That's kind of nice. And just for this other arm, I did put some decals around this arm. It's only for this one specifically, and of course around the spikes on this arm. And it has the same movement as the shield, but I think the shield articulation is a little bit better than this spike shoulder piece. But other than that, it's the same decal on this elbow. Unfortunately, there's only one, so it doesn't have another decal for the other arm, for the elbow. But one thing I do want to show is that this kit also comes with some a different type of hands that are a little bit more articulate. Not by much, unfortunately. But it's kind of nice. The thumb can move around like so. So there's the index finger, and the other three fingers are just on one ball joint, like so. And of course, this is for the wrist, so you can move the hand back and forth. And these are mainly used for the weapons, but still, I like whenever these kits, whether it be real grade and master grade, have different like articulate fingers, just a little bit. So yeah, those are the arms. And here we have is the head, and I really like it. I do like the Zaku heads. Yeah, of course they have the same mold, but like I said, it's the first Zaku I ever built, so really excited about this. And what best one to actually start building is the Char Custom. So do like that. It's pretty sleek. I like it. It just works so well. These are not bendable like the legs are, but it's still kind of nice. You do get that mono eye sticker there. Yeah, that's actually a sticker, not a plastic piece. But all in all, it's actually pretty nice. I can't really show any articulation until it's attached, but still. Also be careful of this piece right here, that little antenna. It was a little bit loose, but luckily I was able to get in there, and it's right now staying solid, but still, just be careful. I actually did, right here is a little bit different color, same thing for the back here. So there's some color scheme. Also did some Gundam marker over here, some panel lining. But all in all, a very solid, good Zaku head. And now as for the weapons, this is the Zaku heat axe. Nothing really that stands out too much about this. It's just the common axe for all Zakus. This actually, but it's pretty nice. You know, I don't mind it. I think it's pretty sleek. These are just for attachments. These pieces are for the waist and for the hand. This one actually, if I can get the waist here, this piece right here actually attaches to the back of the waist, like so. So it's pretty nice. And as for the hand, as you can see here, there's a little slip there for this to go in. So it's going to be something like this. And it fits perfectly. Fits perfectly. But yeah, that's the heat axe. Next up is a Zaku machine gun. And it looks like your standard like Tommy gun machine gun, so has a nice really look to it. There's some details there. I have a little scope there as well. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice. I like it. Pretty sleek. Pretty easy to build. Nothing that doesn't really stand out too much in terms of that, but honestly, like I said, it's it's pretty solid. I like how it looks. But for this though, you can actually remove the ammunition from here. Just gotta wiggle it a little bit, and there we go. You can get the waist, and this can actually go on the side there, like so. Take that off. If you can't, there we go. You can also put it back here as well. Fill there. And of course, this just pops back in. Now there's some articulation for the machine gun. This can be held by the other hand, just a stick of the handle. Now the proper handle is actually this one right here. We just need to move that. if I can. Let me see if I can push this out a little bit. There we go. So you can push that out, and just like how it did with the heat axe, this goes inside that the little slit inside the hand, so it holds better. But yeah, that's a machine gun. And lastly, the Zaku bazooka. This one is, again, pretty sleek, just like the machine gun. Doesn't really stand out too much, but then again, there's only just a couple of pieces here, actually. But it looks pretty nice. I did do some paint lining on this side of the bazooka. But all looks pretty well. Two different types of gray here. Darker gray in the ends here, and a normal gray in the middle. It's pretty nice. I'll say it's pretty nice. I feel like every kid has a bazooka of some kind. Almost every kid has a bazooka, right? Oops. Some butterfingers I have. But just like the machine gun, this peg does come out like so, and this, of course, can be held by the other hand. The scope can actually move side to side. And also, this can actually move, can be placed on the back of the waist. So all you gotta do is just push that down, grab the waist, and this flap that I showed earlier, that moves down. There's a little slit there, and there's a little, somewhat of a peg there, and that just goes in like so. Doesn't snap, it just rests there. So just be careful, but that's how it's supposed to look. And we have just all the parts just being laid out, getting ready to be assembled. But that'll be for the next video. Until then, thank you all for watching. I'm again very happy that I'm building a Zaku. Then looking forward to see how this is assembled. Just to see how the full look of it, and who knows, maybe I'll get a master grade, maybe an updated one, or at least a good one. Some of the master grade Zakus are a little bit dated, so I don't know how much they held up, but hey, if there's a Zaku master grade that you recommend, please comment down below. But you can see here, a little char here, this little figure, is just getting ready for his mobile suit to be assembled. But of course, patience is a virtue. So till then, be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and hit that notification bell for more video updates. There are my social links are down below, Reddit and Instagram. There are two videos here. One is the most recent, which is of course the unboxing of this real grade Zaku II, and one here that YouTube picked out for your viewing pleasure. So until then, thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep on building.